Unless there's a major trade or a pick against public opinion, the Chicago Bears will make USC quarterback Caleb Williams the #1 pick in this year's NFL draft. He's a human highlight film. The 2022 Heisman Trophy winner, athletic as hell, freakish on the field. He's already a multimillionaire. But is he the best quarterback in the draft? This is the Caleb Williams breakdown and my take. The 2024 NFL draft is coming up next month. In the first round, we expect to see 5 quarterbacks taken: Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, Michael Penix Jr., and J.J. McCarthy. It's a deep draft, and all 5 of those guys could go really, really high in the first round. I've already talked about Jaden Daniels, Michael Penix Jr., and Drake May. Today I talk about USC's Caleb Williams. Now, if you've watched USC play this past season, the year before when he won the Heisman Trophy, it was a situation where you make yourself a bowl of popcorn, pull up a chair, flip on the tube, and be entertained for 2.5, 3 hours. The guy was a human highlight film, an absolute physical freak on the field, and extremely fun to watch. Does that equate into being a franchise Super Bowl winning quarterback in the NFL? Let's take a look. This is what I like about Caleb Williams. We'll start off with arm talent. I hate that word, but I couldn't think of a better one, so let's go with it. Arm talent. He can make all the throws. He's got a live arm. He can get the ball downfield. He can make the intermediate throws, and he can throw it short. He can fit the ball into small spaces, and as he showed playing behind what might be one of the worst offensive lines in Division I football this year, he throws the ball on the run and with different arm angles better than anybody else that I've seen in a long, long time. He may out Patrick Mahomes when it comes to arm slot, delivering the ball, throwing it with his body going one way and him throwing the other way. It's just really phenomenal, the things that he can do with his arm. Williams is accurate. Okay, you just look at his back shoulder throws. That's one of the marks of a guy that can put the ball where he wants to put it. You've got a very small error window throwing a back shoulder route. It's got to be put right on the money or else it's not a successful throw. And he consistently makes these. He puts it right on the outside shoulder of the receiver. He gets it there with zip, and he keeps it away from the DB. The other throws that I measure a quarterback's accuracy on are corner routes and dig routes. Anytime you've got a receiver that's running full speed away from you, and you've got to be able to put that ball on him where not only it's on him, but he catches it in stride. Doesn't have to slow down, doesn't have to go down to get it, doesn't have to leave his feet and jump, doesn't have to lay out. He can catch the ball in stride and keep on running. So Caleb Williams is very accurate with his arm. We talked about being more Mahomes than Mahomes is. And what I mean by that is just one thing. He can deal the football with him coming over the top, him coming 3/4, him throwing sidearm, or him throwing lower than sidearm. And what makes him Mahomes-like in this is he can make those throws while he is headed, his body is headed in one direction, and he's throwing the ball the opposite way. It's like almost physically impossible to do what he and Patrick Mahomes do throwing the football. What's really impressive about Caleb Williams and his arm slot and being able to throw it like Mahomes does is when he's forced to run to his left and throw the ball while he's going almost full speed with his chest, hips, and shoulders facing the sideline, and he's able to crank those shoulders around and deliver that sucker 3/4 delivery and hit his receiver either right in stride or right between the numbers on the chest. Very, very impressive. Williams is really athletic. I mean, he is big, strong, and fast. When you see him run in the open field and you've got DBs coming up to try to make tackles on him, he just swats them out of the way. He stiff arms them, throws them down into the ground. He's a strong, tough guy. He's physically tough. He didn't miss snaps this year. He is physically tough, and he's built for punishment. And playing behind USC's offensive line, he had to be tough. He extends plays, and this is his forte. I've heard pundits out there and gurus and pontificators talk about he's a creator. Yeah, he creates. He extends plays, sometimes unnecessary, but he can make chicken salad out of chicken shit. There is no doubt about that. And as I said, USC's offensive line was so bad this year that he was really forced to be a Houdini out there and to make things happen. And he can do that. Okay, I talked about this with Drake May and playing for Phil Longo because I really think that this is a big area with college quarterbacks going into the NFL and being able to be an immediate force in the league at the quarterback position, and that's who you play for in college. Now, Lincoln Riley's track record with quarterbacks and offenses is really second to none. He's a air raid, quasi air raid type guy, although Riley does a lot more with the RPOs, run pass option, a lot of play action stuff. But the reason why I give this a positive for Caleb Williams is Riley knows how to teach his quarterbacks how to read coverage, how to manage a game, basically how to deal the ball back there in the gun, in the passing game, and being able to understand spacing, throwing receivers open, so on and so forth. The quarterbacks that he's worked with, it's kind of like Cliff Kingsbury as well. Those guys understand the passing game. And I think that there's a lot of quarterbacks playing in the NFL right now that don't exactly have 100% grasp on how the passing game works. So Caleb's, he's got an advantage there, and that's part of his skill set. Okay, he's definitely battle tested. I mean, Oklahoma in the Big 12, and then USC in the Pac-12. He's playing against good teams, good defenses, good defensive coordinators, and under the bright lights. He's a rock star in college football. So he's going to go into the NFL not being intimidated by big stadiums, big crowd, the media, any type of opponent that he comes up against, any type of defense, or even really the speed of the game in the NFL. He is battle tested. Okay, this goes without saying, but it's part of his skill set and one that I really believe that a starting quarterback must have. He has big time swagger, and it's how he carries himself on the field. It's how he plays. Your starting quarterback has got to have that swagger and confidence, and it has to be real. It can't be faked. Now, his teammates are going to feed off of that. And there's a saying that says, the team, your football team, is a reflection of the head coach. They take on the same characteristics as the head coach. I believe that the starting quarterback has just as much sway on his teammates, particularly, obviously, his offensive teammates, but the team in general. If you've got a guy like Baker Mayfield, like Tom Brady, like Peyton Manning, like Dan Marino, who, when they take the field, you know that those dudes are going to compete their ass off and have total confidence in their ability and what they can do. It raises the entire level of the offense and the football team. Okay, those are all the strengths, all the things that I like about Caleb Williams. Here are my concerns. Number one, I think that because of his athletic ability and the things that he can do on the field, at times he's in love more with being that ESPN highlight than he is just doing his job and running the damn offense. Now, I said the same thing when I watched him for the very first time 2 or 3 years ago playing for Oklahoma. And Oklahoma's offensive line was pretty good. But there were a lot of plays where he should have been delivering the ball or at least checking it down. And he made a real fast decision to just say, I'm going to get out and do something and get on the perimeter and run. And those are great for social media clicks. They're great for the fan base, the guys that are eating the popcorn and drinking the beer and watching the game on Sunday afternoon. But I don't think that there's a lot of offensive coordinators in the NFL that are real happy when their quarterbacks are doing that stuff, because guys that don't run the offense, just run the offense, as athletically gifted as they are, they have a tendency to bog that offense down. Okay? They're going to make plays. They're going to make huge plays. They're going to make plays that you're going to be talking about at the office for a week. But those same quarterbacks are driving their offensive coordinator and quarterback coaches up a wall. And I think that there were times this year with USC, and again, a lot of it goes back to their offensive line, but there were times where Caleb Williams, instead of just running the offense, throwing it to the open receiver on time or checking the ball down, just said, I'm going to get out and make something happen. And I think that the Trojans offensively sputtered this year a little bit because of that. Along with that, I think that watching Caleb throw this year and play, there were times in the pocket where I don't want to say he was boxing shadows on the wall or fighting ghosts, but he said, screw my progressions, when he sensed that the pocket may be breaking down when it wasn't breaking down. And it was obvious to see on film that there were times where he had plenty of time to get the ball off, and you could see his eyes come down to the pass rush. And now, as soon as that happens with a quarterback and your eyes come down to the pass rush, it's over. Okay. So that's got to be something that has to be coached out of him at the next level. And with some quarterbacks, that's just hard to get out of the system. And I'm not saying Caleb Williams does this, but I've coached quarterbacks in the past that basically fell in love with their legend and all the pats on the back they got from people that weren't on the coaching staff and weren't an offensive coordinator or weren't a quarterback coach. Okay, and then the last concern I have, and I call this the ghost of Jeff George. Now, if you're old enough to remember, and if you're not, go back and Google Jeff George and read about all of the stuff that was said about him before he came into the league, while he was in the league, and after he retired from the league. Jeff George was not Caleb Williams. athletic-wise, but he had a right arm that was delivered from up above, gifted, was a hell of a thrower, passer, could make every throw imaginable. Jeff George was also a major pain in the ass. Okay, a major pain in the ass. He argued with teammates. He argued with coaches. He was a attitude guy. And because of that, the teams that he quarterbacked struggled, and he bounced from team to team to team to team. And he never reached his potential because there is so much more to play in the position in the NFL than just physical ability. Okay? Caleb Williams is a diva. He's a diva. And I don't think that that's going to work out well for him in the league. His dad is an issue. His dad is his agent. And it's just nonsense. It's the drama, nonsense, and bullshit that franchises don't need. It doesn't help you out. And unfortunately, the last couple of years, Caleb Williams has shown this behavior, and it's out there. The Chicago Bears have to know it, you know, and I hope that changes. I hope that changes for him. I'm rooting for Caleb Williams. That's a big concern of mine, is the off the field bullshit is going to get in the way of the on the field performance. And, you know, when I look at quarterbacks, you're looking at physical ability, you're looking at the mental ability, X's and O's, progressions, all that kind of stuff. You're looking at leadership on and off the field and in the locker room. And the fourth category is miscellaneous. But another way to say this is drama, nonsense, and bullshit. If he doesn't have any of that off the field, he's going to go places, and so is his team. If he's got that stuff going on off the field, that's going to bite him and the organization in the ass. Caleb Williams, before his senior season at USC, was a multimillionaire. Caleb Williams' performance, a lot of it's tied in with the guys he was playing with at SC, but his performance from his Heisman Trophy, from his Oklahoma to USC Heisman Trophy to this last year, kind of did this. And I said this to people watching him play this year. It looks like he has other things on his mind. And he did. He did. And that's what happens, and that is what is going to continue to happen with college football and the NIL, which is another show by itself. But I think that he fell into that trap where there was other crap going on off the field, which affected him on the field. And now some of the stuff that his dad's doing with NFL teams, it's not conducive to winning quarterback play. Okay, so at the end of the day, Caleb Williams is going to be a very exciting NFL player. He's going to sell a shitload of tickets. He's going to be a cultural phenomenon. But unless he gets rid of that diva behavior, he's not going to reach his full potential. I hope he does it because I'm rooting for him. He is really, really fun to watch. Is he the best quarterback in this year's draft overall? I don't think so. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Be on the lookout for my last QB breakdown when I talk about Michigan's J.J. McCarthy. This is QB Unfiltered. This has been my take. And remember, always throw the ball short to guys who can score. See ya.